You grow up around filmmaking. Your father, Robert Downey Jr., is a director and actor, so you're introduced to the industry while you're still a child. You appear in one of his films when you're only a young boy. Acting doesn't feel like some distant dream. It's simply part of your life. As you get older, you begin taking acting seriously. You move toward bigger opportunities and eventually become part of the young Hollywood scene of the 1980s. Comedy helps you stand out, but you're capable of much more. By the late 1980s, you're getting serious roles and building a reputation as one of the most interesting young actors of your generation. Then comes the role that changes how people see you.
In 1992, you play Charlie Chaplin in Chaplin. It's an extremely demanding role. You have to capture Chaplin's movements, expressions, humor, and personality while portraying someone who is already a legendary performer. The performance works. Critics praise you. You receive an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Suddenly, your career appears to be heading exactly where you want it to go. You're young. You're respected. Hollywood is paying attention. The opportunities should only get bigger from here. But while your professional reputation is rising, your personal life is moving in the opposite direction. Drug use, which had started years earlier, becomes increasingly difficult to control. And eventually, the problem becomes impossible to hide. At first, you continue getting work. That's part of what makes addiction so dangerous. You can still be successful while your life is falling apart, but eventually the consequences catch up. There are arrests and court cases, there are attempts to get sober, there are relapses. You enter treatment and try to rebuild your life only to struggle again. Hollywood watches all of it. The industry can forgive a lot when an actor's making money and showing up on time, but when insurance companies and studios start seeing you as a financial risk, opportunities become much harder to get. The roles become smaller, your reputation becomes the story. Instead of people asking how talented you are, they're asking whether you're reliable enough to hire. That's a brutal position for any actor to be in. And for a while, it looks like your career may never recover.
The important thing is that your comeback doesn't begin with Marvel. It starts earlier. You begin working seriously on sobriety and rebuilding your life. You take smaller acting opportunities. Television becomes an important part of your return. You appear in Ally McBeal, and the performance reminds audiences that the talent is still there. But rebuilding a career after years of instability takes time. People need evidence that the change is real. You can't simply announce that you've changed. You have to prove it, movie by movie, job by job. Eventually, directors and producers start taking bigger chances on you again. Your career isn't what it once was, but it's moving forward. Then Marvel comes calling.
Marvel is developing Iron Man. At the time, Iron Man isn't the global movie icon he would eventually become. Spider-Man and the X-Men are far more established on screen. Marvel is taking a significant financial risk by building a movie around Tony Stark. And then there's the casting. Robert Downey Jr. Some people inside the industry question whether you're the right choice. The concerns aren't about your acting ability, they're about your history. But director Jon Favreau believes you understand Tony Stark in a way few other actors could. Tony is intelligent and charming, but he has spent years making destructive choices and avoiding responsibility. Your own experience gives you a different understanding of the character. Marvel takes the chance. Now you have one opportunity to prove everyone wrong. In 2008, Iron Man arrives in theaters, and it works. The movie becomes a major commercial success, and your performance receives widespread praise. Tony Stark isn't just another superhero. He's funny, flawed, arrogant, vulnerable, and surprisingly human. Audiences connect with him. And suddenly, Robert Downey Jr. is no longer being discussed as a former star who ruined his career. You're being discussed as a leading man again. The comeback is real, but Marvel has something much bigger planned. The post-credit scene introduces Nick Fury and hints at something called the Avengers Initiative. One successful movie was only the beginning.
You return as Tony Stark. The character becomes one of the most recognizable figures in modern cinema. But what's remarkable isn't simply how successful the movies become, it's where you started. There was a time when major studios were reluctant to insure you. Now you're leading one of the biggest movie franchises in history. The same industry that once questioned whether you could be trusted with a production is now building billion-dollar films around your character.
Then comes Endgame. Tony Stark's story reaches its conclusion. The character sacrifices himself to save the universe. For audiences, it's the end of an era. For you, it's also the end of the role that completely transformed your career. Iron Man didn't just make you famous again, it changed how Hollywood viewed you. You went from a talented actor whose career had nearly collapsed to one of the highest profile stars in the world. But it's important to understand something. The movie didn't magically rescue you. The real work happened before the cameras rolled. You had to confront addiction.
You had to rebuild trust. You had to become reliable again. Then you had to deliver when someone finally gave you another chance. Iron Man was the opportunity. You had to be ready for it.
It's easy to turn this into a simple Hollywood comeback story. Actor loses everything, gets Iron Man, becomes successful. But the reality is more complicated. Talent was never your biggest problem. You had already proven that with Chaplin. Your challenge was building a life stable enough to support that talent. That's what makes the story powerful. Because getting a second chance is one thing. Being ready when that second chance arrives is something else. When Marvel took the risk on you, they weren't simply betting on an actor. They were betting that the person behind the reputation had changed. The opportunity only matters if you're prepared to take it. You didn't become Iron Man because Hollywood decided to forgive you. You became Iron Man because you rebuilt yourself well enough for Hollywood to take another chance.